Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, F.E. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. We're never tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
All right, guys, we're going to get right into it. Episode 3, here with the champ and the tramp. Champ and the tramp. I always say the. Champ and the tramp. I'm the tramp, guys, in case you didn't know.
As you couldn't tell.
I think what we want to do, and this will end at some point, so bear with us, but we've had so many people to thank because this was such a tough thing to get up and running. First and foremost, I got to thank my buddy Lou that's behind the camera over there. He's kind of our tech guy.
Our savior.
He didn't want to do this, but I told him he has to do this, otherwise we're never going to get this up and running. So Lou is here. Thank you, Lou Grom. You are the man. He doesn't have a... Hey,
there you go. He's making his appearance. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Not only is he our savior with this tech stuff, but he's also the guy that pretty much saved my life there when I went through all my bullshit. So thank you, Lou, for saving my life as well. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that would be tough to do the champ podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you need a wingman. You do. Zach would look good over here.
He would fill your
He's
spot.
He's better
looking
than me. He's younger than me. God damn it.
He'd fucking fill your silhouette out. If you ever become an actor, he could be your stunt double.
That's true. This is true. Anyway, so what happened, guys? Today we tried to upload.
Let's real quick run away. Let's thank Lou's brother-in-law.
Well, I was going to do that. I was going to explain
how.
I was going to explain how. I was going to bring Lou, brother-in-law, Paulie, who I know, great guy. I was going to bring him into the mix as well, but let me explain how. So episode 1 went up today. Obviously, this episode won't be coming out for a while, so you won't know that for a bit. But episode 1 went up today, and it went up on, we attempted to put it up on multiple platforms, YouTube being one, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all of them. We attempted to launch. Well, this is a figuring out process, guys, so thanks for bearing with us. What we didn't know, and nobody realized, was A, we needed a host site, but we figured that out in time.
A host site?
We needed a host site.
Like a host site, like Plenty of Fish?
No. Beanpod is who we ended up using for our host site. But then what happens is when you upload to all those platforms, they need to approve it. It doesn't just instantly get loaded. So we at 3 o'clock, we're all like, yep, we're up, we're good, we got everything worked out, and nobody could find us, except for on YouTube. Thank God it went up on YouTube. You could find us on there. But another thing that we figured out, again, this is a figuring out process, is that even when we uploaded to YouTube, our content was too big. Our file space was too big. It was like 8 gigs. And we were like, oh my God, how do we shrink this? What do we do?
I've heard that before.
Yeah, what do we do? How do we?
It's too big.
Yeah, I bet you have. Yeah. So anyway, we had to figure it out. So Louis, that you just saw, contacted Paulie, who I know, Louis' brother-in-law, who works in the tech field, Paulie Albanese. Paulie's @ on Instagram is Paulie1201, if you want to give him a shout-out and thank him, because we would have never been up and running if it wasn't for Paulie. What you have to do is you have to run everything through a program called Handbrake, which shrinks it. Anyway, I won't bore you with all the specifics.
Don't give away our secret sauce either.
Yeah, I won't bore you with all the details. I won't give you the KFC secret sauce here. But it was a lot to it, a lot involved. I'm sorry that it didn't upload on everybody's platform today, but a special thank you to those two guys, really.
Yeah, they definitely came through in the clutch.
Yep.
Again, we'd be turning the wheel.
Frankie and I are idiots. We literally, if we had to make
yourself. No, yeah, I'm not too savvy when it comes to
We can
technology.
barely make fire.
Yeah, with a lighter maybe. That's about it. But yeah, I figured this episode, I'm a father, People look at me as a fighter, but I'm a father. People look at you as a reality star. I mean, the people that don't know you, and they don't think of you as a father. But I think, first and foremost, I'm a father. You're a father. Mm-hmm. I have a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and you have.
I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and our 5-year-olds are girls, and they're like best of friends. So.
Yeah, they get together. They take them to Diggerland, and they come here and they cause trouble and
they're very similar personalities. I think we got to get those two wrestle each other. Yeah. Does V wrestle yet?
V does jiu-jitsu.
Oh, she's gonna kick my kid's ass then.
Oh, we got to get her signed up, man. Come on.
All right.
The gentle art.
Yeah. I think Milani's a little bigger though. Maybe that'll equal it out.
Yeah. We build them little. I imagine she's gonna be a little bit taller. So yeah, let's start off with my story. I have a crazy story. All right.
I want to hear
Becoming a father. So before I was a father, my wife got pregnant. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And so anyway, she's going through her pregnancy, and everything's going fine. You go into the like a level 3 doctor, I guess. That's where you go to make sure everything's healthy with the baby, this and that. And they measure the baby, in the 3 months, then 6 months, then towards the end. And so she's at a visit to check the measurement of the baby. She's about I think 40 weeks is full term, right?
I believe so.
All right, so I think she was like 37 weeks. So not like it's not safe to have the baby, but it's not full term.
They always say 9 months, but it's technically a full 10 months.
10 months, I believe, from inception to birth. Right. But so she was 37 weeks. Conception. That's right. Inception. That's a movie. So there you go. Thanks for the clarification.
I'm just trying to look smart over here.
Hey, it's not going to be too hard with me on the cross-side. So anyway, we're she's at the doctor doing a measurement. The lady measured, I think incorrectly, measured my son, said he was small, said something's wrong, he's not growing, pretty much saying he had something wrong with him.
Doctor or nurse?
Well, the tech that measured the baby. I guess they measure their head, they measure something, whatever. So they measure my son, and he was too small, so they said, we got to take him out. And again, she wasn't, in labor. She was 37 weeks out. So I remember her calling me crying, I got to go to labor now. They're saying something's wrong with our kid, blah, 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 blah. And we could have done an amnio, right, where they put the needle in. But we didn't want to do that because we knew, it's risky to the kid. And if that was the card dealt to us, that was the card dealt to us. That's how we kind of felt. So we said, we're not going to do that. We'll just go to the hospital, I guess, and get...
C-section?
No. Get induced.
Okay.
Induced. So she gets induced. So she really wasn't ready to go. Mm-hmm. She gets induced. When you get induced, it's like a super painful process. It takes forever. I remember
both of my kids were induced labor.
Right.
We went in at 39 weeks.
So she gets induced, friggin', nutty thing. She's always in pain, this and that. Now, what comes up is the nurse comes in and says, you have to do your HIV test. She did the one at 3 months. She did the one at 6 months. Then she was
slow down a little bit on that, because I honestly don't remember that. I know Jenny got full bodies of panel of blood work done, but why HIV test at 3 at what?
I think
why wouldn't one be sufficient? She's pregnant. What is she?
I know, but I guess just for because I don't know if how like AIDS tests can come up. You get AIDS. It maybe doesn't come up in a test like how often it does.
Why the kid is so small?
Right.
They think he's so small?
No, not at all. Not because they think he's small. This is just it's procedure.
Okay.
She got it at 3 months, got it 6. She was supposed to get it pretty much 2 weeks before. The next week she was supposed to get it. So she didn't. So they give her a rapid one, and these kind of rapid ones are kind of new. So she gets the AIDS test, and they come back in with the results, and they're like, you got a false positive. And we're like, what? A false positive. So it's like, what does that mean? It's like, well, it means you could be positive. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Obviously, I'm not thinking that. All the other ones, the other 2 obviously came back negative. So they give her another one, and they're like, oh, it was weird. It didn't come out correctly. All right, it didn't come out correctly. So now everybody's looking at me because I'm the fighter. They're like, oh, we're going to test you. We think you got AIDS. I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, listen, I get tested more than fucking anybody. Right. You got tested for every fight. And I'm saying, if the only way you have AIDS is if you're fucking is you're fucking around on me. That's the only way. Yeah. So I'm not worried. I'm okay.
Or drugs, right?
Or drugs. I guess drugs. But I mean, she doesn't do drugs. So pretty much.
So you were thinking no drugs. Possibility she could be fucking around.
Possibility she could be slopping on a knob. Someone else's knob, not mine. You know what I mean? But hopefully that wasn't the case. And no, I didn't think so. So I go down and get tested. Mine comes back negative, and they will not check her to see if she's fully dilated. They will break her water. They're treating her like
a messiah because they
they're treating her like a little different. And this is our first kid, you know what I mean? It's our first pregnancy going through. It was pretty crazy, My parents are there, her parents are there. I'm running down to getting tested, coming back up. This is like a 16-hour process, I believe. And she could not get an epidural either. I don't know
why I said messiah. I meant leper, but anyway.
Right, same thing, I guess. Right?
Totally different, but
totally
anyway.
different, right. And she couldn't get an epidural, so she's toughing this out. And when you get progestin, I think is the drug that induce. Yep. I mean, I heard it makes it 10 times more painful as well. So this whole thing's going on, and they do not want her to give a vaginal birth, like a natural birth. They want to give a C-section because, like, the baby can get AIDS if you have AIDS. I'm like, Renee, you don't have fucking AIDS. Fuck these people. You know what I mean? and the doctor comes in. And
Wait, there's no foolproof test to go beyond the scale of what they already did?
There is, but you have to send out for it, and you don't get bad for it. This was a rapid test, which these just came out.
Yeah.
Right? So,
This is like that. You know what it reminds me of? What is the chick out in she created the quick blood scan test. She was like, everybody thought she was a genius, and it turned out the whole thing was like a big scam. It was supposed to check for like 300 some odd, blood-borne viruses, and I forget her.
BS?
Well, it only checked for like 40, but yeah, something like that.
That's not bad, I guess. But so
it was a big scam.
Yeah, big scam. But this, so the drug test came out positive, false positive. Now they will not check her to see how far dilated is. Like I said, they're treating her like a leper, and her water wouldn't break. Right, so they finally we asked can you check see where we're at? So they check her, and she's fully dilated, but her water didn't break, and they won't break it. Now, usually other people, they break the water. So they would not break her water, which is because they were worried that she had AIDS, and you can give it to the baby, right? Which, again...
Because I guess, but isn't everything already done intravenously?
True,
The baby's
yes.
getting
I imagine, yes. But I think they do it just maybe, or for their sake, maybe. I don't know why.
The mom's blood is pumping through the baby's
blood. You would think so.
Yeah, I would think.
You would think so.
Huh.
I'm no scientist.
Yeah.
So I remember now the doctor comes in. Renee's kind of really adamant. She wants to give a natural birth. She doesn't want to get a C-section. That was her whole plan the whole time along. And the doctor comes in and it pulls me aside, actually. Listen, something could happen to the baby. Something could happen to your wife if she doesn't have a C-section now. I'm fucking 26-year-old, 27-year-old kid. I'm like, you're getting a fucking C-section. We're not doing this, and I'm not letting that happen to you. And Renee's a fucking mess. She's real emotional, in pain like crazy. Thank God the nurse that was in there at that time looked to Renee. She said, your fucking baby's fine. Do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, she probably didn't say the F word. She said, do whatever you want. This is your baby. This is your pregnancy. You do it your way. You do it how you want.
She went off.
So
the
Renee
cuff.
said, she went off the cuff. And Renee's, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, no names here. So Renee said, to the whole doctor, listen, I'm gonna try. I want to try to push. She's like, all right, you can try to push. Oh, back it up. They put my kid on fucking AZT.
I don't know what that is.
It's AIDS medicine.
No way.
Yeah, so they put.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm sorry. They put Renee on AZT.
I was going to say your kid. Your kid is connected to your wife.
Right.
Still.
They put Renee on AZT.
Okay.
Right, and that's not good. That's not good stuff.
Yeah.
AZT. They don't even know if it works.
Really?
But it's not good stuff. So it was actually created for cancer first, and they said, oh, maybe it'll work for AIDS. Not good stuff. So she was on AZT.
But only then. They discovered it that late. So she was on AZT for how long?
Well, just the part of the pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
So while she was in labor.
Yeah.
So she's on AZT, whatever. Now she said, I want to try pushing. So she tries pushing, nurse, me, whatever, and doctor. She pushed and broke her fucking water. Bro, it was kind of gross, but it squirted all over the wall. And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like,
that's my baby.
So now it's like, all right, we're going here. So we're going. So she pushed. She was a champ. I'm like, I got in my coaching mode. I'm like, let's go. You could do this. Blah blah blah. I felt like I was in the corner of my buddy's fight. And
by your third kid, you're eating a Twinkie in the corner.
Yeah. But the coach came out of me, and I'm telling her all the steps, breathe, this and that, and she gave birth to my kid. He's born. Looks healthy. Everything's healthy. But they put him on AZT because it took 4 days to get something block test, something like that. I forget what it's called, but it took 4 days to get it back. So my son is as a newborn baby on fucking AZT for 4 days, and then they also said something like his kidneys are small. So now we're bugging out.
Is that crucial to get? I mean, a newborn on AZT that fast? The first 4 days of his life is on AZT.
If say he had AIDS, maybe. I don't know.
Progresses that rapidly?
I have no idea. Again,
but doesn't it always start as you said? You're saying HIV or AIDS?
Well, HIV. I don't know. They said fucking. I heard HIV. It's all AIDS to me. Fuck. I don't want either one.
AIDS is like the last step.
AIDS is you're dead. You're dead. Yeah. So probably HIV. So he's in the NICU for 4 days, 5 days. We're staying at the hospital. We stayed there. We're like, I'm not going fucking home. Yeah. And they were cool because they realized, I think, too, when they got the fucking test back, it obviously came back negative.
Yeah.
That what happened is this. We researched the test. It's brand new. Pregnancy throws it off, and my wife has some weird Mediterranean blood, something like not disorder, but it's kind of like sickle cell.
Okay.
In a sense, but it's not like deadly, I guess.
Okay.
But it's something that I think that throws it off. So that's why she had this AIDS test. But my first pregnancy was crazy.
That
it was
is
crazy.
insane, dude.
Running up and down, 16 hours of labor.
Yeah.
And then he's in the fucking thing for, the NICU for 4 days. And then my son Santino, my second son, 16 months apart. We get to the hospital, bro. Hour later, he's here.
Shot
I'm
that
like,
kid out, yeah.
what the hell? Holy shit! It was just totally. I was expecting to buckle up and be in for another crazy ride, and boom, he was there in like an hour and a half.
Yeah. No, mine were a little different. My experiences with my kids, I delivered. Well, Melania, I cut the cord and he kind of helped me a little bit. Grayson, like the doctor we had, the same doctor both times. We loved him. When Grayson was born, he literally looked at me and he said, "Suit up. He's coming out in a minute. She's fully dilated. I can see his head. Suit up, glove up, get ready, Roger. You're gonna deliver your son." And I thought he was joking. I'm like, "Yeah, all right." He's like, "I'm serious." And I what? You had to make a decision. You were either gonna do it or you weren't. So I did it, and I literally pulled him out, cut the cord, the whole 9 yards. The doc didn't even touch him. It was amazing. So,
nice.
But he went into NICU. He ingested a little bit of amniotic fluid on the way out, so he had fluid on his lungs. Couldn't breathe good. It was the scariest thing ever. They call it pulling. You see him trying to suck air, and you can see his ribs and stuff. And it was a little scary, but he went to NICU. He was out in 3 days, but Jenny and I rotated, took turns in and out. Of course, he was there the first night anyway, but, next couple nights I stayed, and we took turns staying with him. But he's fine. He seems to get sick a little bit easier than Melania. I don't know if it's his lungs are just, more susceptible because of that, but both my kids are healthy, knock on wood,
Yeah, well, that's
Oh,
I think,
something I was going to mention, talking about kids and how scary that whole thing is. Melanie, right, when Jenny noticed this at a very young age, I would have never noticed it. I'm guessing Melanie was maybe like 6 months old, our first, and Jenny was looking at her one day, just staring at her like moms do, I guess, and said, "Look at her eye, her right eye." And I looked at it, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Her pupil's bigger than her left eye." And I looked, and I could barely tell. I mean, it's so minute, you'd have to stare for 5 minutes to notice it. So we took her in for an eye exam. Dr. Spedick right here, Tom's River, a pediatric doctor that most people take their kids to in this area. And he looked it over, said, and she's only 6 months old. There's only so much you can do, you know what I mean? With a 6-month-old, she's just a baby. And he said, I think that she may have something called physiologic anisocoria. Don't ask me how I remember that. If that happened to me,
good. That's a tongue twister.
If that happened to me, I would never remember it because it was my kid. I remember it.
Of course.
Physiologic anisocoria, right? So it's a condition that like 10% of the population has, and it's exactly what it is. A big name for basically nothing.
Nothing, right?
It means that 10% of the population has one pupil that's bigger than the other pupil,
Yeah, I've
right?
seen
It doesn't
some people.
doesn't affect your vision. Doesn't really.
I've never
do anything.
noticed it on your daughter though.
No, you never would. You never would, right? So anyway,
Some people do have noticeable ones on.
Really?
I believe, yeah.
Really? It was just your friends you hang out with that are on drugs?
Yeah, it could be. They only got half of themselves got high.
So anyway, but your opposing eye is fucked up big, so it evens it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, couple days went by, and then we get a call from the doctor, and he says, "Hey, listen, I don't want to alarm you. Of course, it's going to alarm us, but he's like, there's something called Horner syndrome that it could be, and Horner syndrome is some bad shit. You don't want Horner syndrome. I mean, I forget exactly what it is. I don't want to misquote, but it's some bad shit." So he said, "There's something called Horner syndrome," and he goes, "I want her to go out to CHOP, Children's Specialized Hospital in Philadelphia, and get a test, right?" So Jenny's freaking out. Jenny freaks out. I'm trying to stay calm because two parents can't be freaking out. She's like, "Oh my God," she's Googling. The worst thing you can do, by the way, if somebody mentions anything, is go on WebMD or go search the internet, because then you just convince yourself that that's it. And
worst.
You're dying, and especially when it's your child, and it's like, so she's freaking out, and I don't think her appointment is for I know this for a fact. We saw a doctor that was a child pediatric specialist in this field, and he was one of 4 doctors in the country that can test for this, for Horner syndrome, right? I know that. I remember that stat.
Wow.
So we drove out there, Children's Specialized Hospital. We had to go like a week or two with not knowing and freaking out. Jenny's, losing her mind. I'm losing my mind too, but I want to keep her calm. And we go out there, and let me tell you something. If you guys want to experience a humbling experience, go to Children's Specialized Hospital.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Jenny was crying. She was hiding behind my back, buried her head in my back in the waiting room while I'm holding Lonnie, crying because of what you would see coming in and out. There was children coming in there. Their parents were wheeling them inside of like incubator machines, wheeling them in from home and bringing them. I've never seen anything like it. It's you know, we're blessed.
Fortunate.
We're fortunate.
Super fortunate.
And you don't realize it when
No.
you have a healthy child.
No.
You just think this is normal. It's
Yeah,
not.
people complain about minute things, but health is the most important.
Right. So here's the story though with Monty. Here's the kicker. So we go in, we see this doctor. I think his name was Dr. Lee. I forget, but a very nice guy. And he explains what's going to happen, the process to test for Horner syndrome, because we had no idea, right? So he's like, listen, you actually have to sign. I think if I remember correctly, I don't want to misquote. I'd have to pull Jenny on this, but I think we had to sign something saying that this was, you know, ethically we agreed with him doing this. So he explains the test to us, right? How they test for Horner syndrome. You know how they test for it? Mm-mm. They take cocaine and they mix it in drops, right? Droplets, actual cocaine, mix it in droplets, and they dilate her eye with it, and it has a reaction only to cocaine. They've been testing for this Horner syndrome since the 70s this same way, right? It's the only test that they do. And they drop it in her eyes. You go back out in the waiting room while it's in her eyes, and they dilate. It takes about a half hour, 40 minutes, and then you go back in, and then he puts her under the
eye reader
thing, whatever you want to call that, and they check her eyes to see how they've dilated and what they see in there. So it was about a half an hour we sat out there, and she freaked out a little bit when he put the drops in, but she was okay, and then we took her back in. And, of course, she's a baby. She doesn't know what's going on. She's freaking out a little bit, but we're freaking out because we're, like, waiting for these results. And he looks in her eyes and says, oh, she doesn't have Horner syndrome. She's good.
Or she, like, grinded her teeth?
Yeah, he said she can't. His joke was she can't go for a job interview for at least 3 days, though. So I was like, that's a good one, Doc. That was good.
I mean, I believe when you ingest something, right? You ingest that. You think she felt anything from it?
Jeez. He did say, I remember this. I'd love to have a great story and say my kid was all fucked up at 6 months old and we were partying, we went to the club afterwards or something. But he did say it was such a minute amount that she would never notice it. It would not get her
I remember kids. I know a kid that would put liquid acid in his eye.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard of people doing drugs and some weird. Remember when ecstasy was big? I heard girls. I never saw it. I would love to watch it actually. If any girl wants to come in here and do it, but girls shove ecstasy pills up their asshole because I guess it breaks apart quicker and absorbs it quicker because the blood vessels are so.
I get it. I think it's more intense too. I mean, that's when people
you
drink.
think it's more intense?
No,
You've done it?
No. I think as I heard, it's more intense. That's people freaking funnel beer and alcohol up their ass.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
Like, I'll just eat the fucking thing. You know what I mean?
You want to have an episode where we funnel beers up our ass?
No,
I'm down.
Absolutely not.
I can't do a very long handstand though, so you're a better candidate. You do it. You go first.
I don't know if I can reach your asshole up like that, you know? Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, drugs are crazy, man.
Now, your kids, they get along?
No. I'm trying to make them get along by, getting after them, but no, and it's dumb shit, man. Listen, when I was a kid, I didn't get along with my sister at all. I get along better with my sister now she's 19 months older than me, better than I ever have in my entire life. Growing up, we were...
That's what everyone says. And that's what I tell my kids, too.
Dude, we were oil and vinegar, and it was always the dumbest shit. It's about, like, my kids fight over racing to the door to see who gets to open the door. And they'll have a knockdown, drag-out fight for 20 minutes because one beat the other one. You know what I mean? It's the dumbest shit. And I feel bad for my parents because I'm like, oh, my God, that was me. When I was a kid, I did the same shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. When you have kids, you start to realize, like, oh shit, my parents, they must have loved me.
I owe them an apology. No wonder my mother moved to Mexico. She literally did to get away from me. My mom lives in Mexico. I swear to God.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Wow. She moved to. They just got sick. They lived in Jersey. Obviously my mom. You want the breakdown of my family history?
Let's hear it.
All right. My mom and dad met in Connecticut. They both worked for a company, Pratt & Whitney, and my dad wanted to take over the family oil business in Maine. So. I think they lived in Connecticut a year or two, and then they went back, and my dad took over the family oil business.
Now, when you said they went back, they're originally from Maine?
No, my mom's from Glen Rock, New Jersey. She's a Jersey girl.
Okay.
But they met in Connecticut at Pratt & Whitney, right? So they go back to Maine. My dad takes over this little tiny family, Matthews, R.W. Matthews and Sons oil business. It was a one-truck operation. My dad takes it over, and he's got big dreams of making it into a big company. My mom went back there. My mom's a pretty chill, quiet lady, but it's tough to take a girl from Jersey back to a little tiny town anywhere, but especially in Maine when you have those brutal long winters. And she never really loved Maine, you know what I mean? So they made it 25 years. They were married, got divorced when my sister and I were like 17, 18. We were old enough where it didn't have a huge effect on us. And my mom moved back to Jersey, right? My mom lived here for like 10 years after she moved back, got remarried. My dad got remarried too. And then they decided the Jersey rat race was a little too busy down here. So they moved to Fort Myers, Florida. And they lived in Fort Myers for, I'm going to guess, like 10 years. And then that got boring for them. That's the quiet coast. They moved there because they wanted the quiet,
the West Coast.
Yeah, they wanted the quiet coast. And then I guess they got a little bored with Fort Myers and they just wanted to explore and stuff. So they talked about moving to, St. Thomas, St. Martin. And they went to Mexico to check it out. They rented a house for 6 months, and they loved it so much they bought a house down there.
Wow!
So they're U.S. citizens, but they're Mexican residents.
Wow,
yeah.
That's cool.
And it's way harder. Everybody.
Do they give like a I don't know, not a green card? What do you get, like a blue card?
I'd have to
down there?
ask them. I know for a while before they became residents, they had to come back every 6 months and renew their visa and all that sort of stuff. But now they can stay. I think they have to come back one day a year.
How long
or
have
something
they been
like
there?
That. Maybe a couple of years. Yep. They're in, I don't want to say because I don't want any drug cartel trying to make my mom a drug mule. Now you guys are. My mom's not into that shit.
Now your stepfather is down there with her?
Yep.
You get along with him? A good guy?
Yeah. Both my parents married great people. They did. Yeah,
That's
really.
cool.
Yep,
That's
they
cool.
did. So, yeah. Yep. So that's that story. But I've never been down to visit. I got to get down there and check it out.
You definitely got.
They live in a really quiet, you know what I mean? It's like it's like a gated, it's a lot of Europeans, a lot of Americans, and they live in a quiet. It's not like they're in Cancun clubbing
near
it
a
up,
beach though. Near a beach.
Near the biggest lake in Mexico, Lake Chapala.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So.
And it's warm, always down there.
They say that's the reason they picked to move there is the weather. They say it's the perfect weather. It's never too hot, never too cold. It's kind of in the mountain range, you know what I mean?
Really?
So I guess it's like 80 degrees during the day, 70 degrees at night, but not like that crazy humidity. And it's the weather that everybody goes there for. So
where would you move if you were moving out of Jersey? You have a spot in mind?
I mean, I'm not a hot weather climate guy. I could do Florida in the winter. I could just never do it in the summer.
Yeah, no way, man.
I don't think I'd move out of the country. I don't know. I'm probably going to get hated on for saying this, but I think we live in the greatest country in the world.
I think we do.
So I don't know that I want to move out of the country.
At least to get raised in.
I will say this. Fucking girls in Canada are smoke shows, man.
Yeah?
I get DMs from Canada. It seems like every time I get a DM and I check it out, and I'm like, wow, this girl's hot. And I look at it, it's like some girl from Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, man. I might move to Canada. I don't know.
That's not a bad. And you said you like the winter. It's more winter up there.
Well, the older I get, the less I'm liking winter. I love the winter because I love snowmobiling. I love ice fishing. I love all things winter, but I don't mind traveling to go do it. I don't have to live in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the seasons.
Yeah.
I
got to get you snowmobiling this year.
I definitely want to go snowboarding. I went snowboarding last week.
Yeah,
snowboarding.
Yeah, totally different.
Yeah, well, obviously.
I'm a motor guy. I need something with a motor to push my fat ass around.
Big boy.
To ski. I skied the Alps and skied Austria. And
you skied Austria, really?
I went to Innsbruck when I was 18 with my dad. And, skied the Alps.
How was that? It's unbelievable, right?
Listen, here's all I remember about Austria, and this is the truth. I was 18, and the drinking age over there is like 16 or 17. I was so shit-faced every night. It was when my parents were getting divorced, so my dad was like depressed and going through some bullshit. So my dad's not even really a drinker at all, but he was drinking a little bit. I was there with my older cousin who was like 25, and his nickname in college was the Power Pig because he could drink so much. So I'm hanging out with the Power Pig.
Power Pig.
That was his name. He could drink. He holds the record at his college for the most funneled beers ever.
Is he as big as you?
He's chubby.
he's built differently, but he has weight the same.
Yeah, but they called him the Power Pig. So I was with the Power Pig and my dad in Austria, and the drinking age was like 16 or 17. So I ate a lot of Wiener Schnitzel and drank a lot of vodka.
What?
Wiener Schnitzel.
Wiener Schnitzel?
Wiener Schnitzel.
Isn't it Wiener Schnitzel?
I think it's Wiener Schnitzel. I think it's called.
I don't know, man. That's the way it was hard. Beer and Wiener Schnitzel.
So, yeah, we did the strip club about every night, too. Yeah.
Oh, Austria?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah,
pretty nuts.
It was good, man. Austria treated me good. I don't
Austria's
remember.
a lot like Germany, right?
I don't remember. We went to Germany, because
it's close, real
close. You go to Europe.
It's right.
It's
like
traveling
being on the East Coast.
It's like traveling the States.
Yeah,
you can go country to country.
Not even the States, like traveling East Coast.
Almost, yeah. So you get on a bus, and you're in Munich, Germany. You're checking out crazy King Ludwig's castle. By the way, Crazy King Ludwig Castle's got some crazy stories to it. The guy was like
kid,
he liked like little boys.
That's Austria?
Yeah, so it's Munich, Germany. There's a castle over there called Crazy King Ludwig's Castle.
He was the king of Germany at one time? Or Germania or some shit? Or
listen, bro, I'm not a history buff.
This would be great for someone to pull up.
He was the king. Yeah, Lou, pull that up. We're not that high tech yet, guys. We're working on it. This ain't the fucking Joe Rogan show.
Yeah.
All right. So, by the way, Frankie's going to do Joe Rogan 27th, right?
Yeah. Yep. January 27th, they'll be on
Joe
buddy.
Rogan
Experience.
Give the champ and the tramp a shout out.
Definitely. Got to.
So, anyway, yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I know he was the king of, I guess, Germany, the king of something, king of his castle. But that castle is what the Disney castle was founded after. They founded the famous Disney castle is modeled off Crazy King Ludwig's castle.
The one in Disney World in Florida, or the one in
definitely
LA,
the one in Florida. But I thought they were the same. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, we're doing a tour. We're being total tourists, doing a tour, and the tour guy was pretty candid about this guy. Maybe she is with everybody, or we were special. And he was a pervert. He was into little boys and
Oh man, you hear a lot of those.
Right. So I'm like, man, does Disney know that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the way the kids are, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, he was a freak, that guy. Crazy King Ludwig.
Crazy King Ludwig.
See, this is how you make history interesting, history teachers to children.
What?
You gotta,
make it, man, this guy's going to fuck you. It's real interesting. Thanks.
No, just telling. He goes right to perv mode immediately.
Oh,
right
you
straight
said
to
guys
perv.
like the kid.
No, you got to give, like the tour guide did. You got to give the good story, the good gossip.
Speaking of teachers, I like that. They're the best.
Yes, I loved. Western Civ was one of my favorite subjects in high school because I liked Mr. Dyer. Mr. Dyer was about shorter than you, so he was a fucking midget basically. And he scared the crap out of me. He talked with such a deep voice. Yeah. Before this show is over, can you? I want to give you guys something. I don't know if this has ever been done before, but can you? Frankie's a little guy, right? He's a 155er natural. He's going to go down to 135 and fight. I'm 250 pounds, but I want this guy to punch me in the stomach and see if he can knock the wind out of me. So before, you want to do it now?
No, we'll do it at the end.
Okay, we'll do it at the end.
I'll drink a little more, get a little more fucking.
All right, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna see if he can knock the wind out of me, and
Well, if you're ready for it, I shouldn't be able to.
Shouldn't be able to. Okay.
I mean, but.
Well, I'm not gonna not be ready.
Well, I'm gonna tell you to tie your shoes. Boom.
Yeah. It brought me back thinking about that. Actually, it brought me back to the early days of UFC when there was no weight limits. You know what I mean? I mean, back in the days of Hoist Gracie.
You could do that back then. Now, whenever.
Well, it's just too advanced.
Yeah,
MMA
back then it was literally art versus art, and
right.
If you just didn't know what the next guy did, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
That. But now, I mean,
they actually had a sumo.
Weight classes matter.
No, they do.
They matter nowadays.
They do. Yeah.
Once the skill level's all the same.
Correct.
Now everybody knows everything.
Yep.
It's crazy how fast martial arts went just because of the UFC.
It is insane. I mean, I keep hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard the terminology many times. Fastest growing sport in the world. I mean,
that's what they say. I think I don't know.
I think it's got to be. What's a new sport out that? What that?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
What they say,
not a new sport. I would say in the world. In the world, yes, it's just a worldwide sport. Everybody gets fighting.
Right,
fighting is something that's so natural.
How many countries is the UFC in now?
I mean, that they fought in before already? Oh, I don't know. I mean, tons. Yeah, everybody gets fighting. Football is the biggest sport.
Think about it.
Well, I don't know. Actually, I think basketball is the biggest sport now in the
What
US.
has been around since we've been cavemen? Fighting,
yeah. It's
been around since we've been cavemen. You know what I mean?
I said once long, what gets the most press out of baseball, hockey, this and that is when a fight happens.
Yeah.
When a fight happens in a baseball game, hockey game, or not hockey, but hockey it's a little more.
It's still allowed in hockey, which is crazy.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But what gets the most press? The fight.
Yep.
You're going to get the fight in fighting. You know what I mean?
When I was a kid, we had season passes to Maine Black Bears. And a big part of why I went every weekend with my family was because I wanted to see a fight. I just thought it was so interesting.
That's great. Hockey players are, I imagine they're tough fucking guys.
Yeah, there's a documentary on what are the bad boys in hockey, the hitters, what are they called? There's a documentary with that name, and I watched it. And
the guys that fight, they call them something, right?
Forget it. Yeah, I forget what it's called, but
it'd be nice if Lou was.
Yeah, Lou, come on, man, you're slacking, buddy. Jesus,
they're like
Rogan's never gonna hire you.
It's when they go and police
basically,
the guy,
yeah. I mean that is their job. Enforcer.
There you go. Enforcer.
Came up with it. So they're called the enforcers.
It's also the name of his dildo. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, bro, you're funneling beer up your asshole before me, so. So yeah, they called them the enforcers. There's a documentary about it, and the mental game that those guys played, knowing that was their role. You know what I mean? They went out on the ice just to get in a fight, and how much they had to amp themselves up for that. And it's an interesting documentary.
What's
I
the
believe
one,
it's called the Enforcers.
Was it the Broad Street Bullies or something? I heard it's like a documentary. I heard that's pretty good about the Philadelphia
Flyers.
Flyers.
Is
yeah,
it? Okay.
they were like a bunch of bruisers, beat the shit out of people.
Yeah.
So the document on Netflix about the enforcers is called The Last Gladiator.
The Last Gladiators.
Last Gladiators.
Yep.
Enforcers on Netflix.
Yep. Thank you, Lou. That's our guys coming through. 10 minutes late.
Yeah, hey. It's all right. We're on the next subject, but it's okay. Thanks, Lou.
Frankie's got half a beer in his asshole already.
Yeah. It's one of them tall boys, too.
Yeah, man, fatherhood. So I was thinking, we're doing this YouTube thing. Frankie and I have no idea how this is going to work out, and it doesn't matter for us. This is
fun.
This is a vent session
in
for
my
us.
basement. We're bullshitting, drinking scotch.
But I thought for the viewers, because we are trying to entertain you guys, that we would try to add a little content to this. This is a little boring on YouTube. The audio, I'm sure, I hope, is a little bit interesting. But the visual, we don't do a lot in here. Other than Frankie shoving beers in his ass, we don't do a lot in here. So I thought that we could do some daddy-daughter stuff, you know what I mean? And because our daughters are such good friends. Not that I wouldn't take the boys or my son or anything like that, but there's a cool dynamic to that. So I thought maybe we could take a camera and go do some outing with the girls, you know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Do a little something where like
take them to a water park, whatever.
Anything. Water park, the city, or something be cool.
Yeah. Take them out to a nice dinner with dads. Yeah.
The boss is around.
Yeah,
just like their mother, I guess, used to boss you around, and mine currently bosses me around. So
just to watch their dynamic too, because they're similar. They're a little mouthy with each other.
Yeah. That's good. They have their own personality. They both have confidence. They're both confident.
They
girls.
are.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But my boys, back to my boys, they fight like animals. You had just a sister, you never a brother.
No,
so
but we fought. My sister, my sister kicked my ass, bro, until I was probably she's bigger than me. She's older than me. She's a bigger girl. She fucked me up until I was about a freshman, sophomore in high school.
Wow.
She was twisting my cat, bro, on the regular. Yeah. And then finally I started like, Jesus, I can't get my ass kicked anymore. Everybody's making fun of me. So.
And then your balls dropped.
And got that deep baritone voice, and then I was like, it's on, girl.
Yeah, I'm 9 years older than my sister, so there was no beef for real. I mean, a little bit maybe. She used to bother me when I cut weight and she'd be eating.
Fucking with you? Really?
No, not fucking me on purpose, but I was just,
get away from me.
15-year-old kid that was hungry and like, leave me alone. Stupid stuff. But but my kids
I wish
fight
that's
like
all the
cats
drama
and
I had
dogs.
with my sister, that she was eating a bowl of fucking Fruit Loops in front of me. We fought over everything.
Yeah, we got close in age. That's why my boys are 16 months apart, man. They fight like animals.
Mm.
They're polar opposites too.
Yeah.
And it's
fun. Your daughter doesn't get too involved in the fighting?
She does. She fights with my middle one. Santino fights with everybody.
Yeah.
He starts with everybody in the house.
Really?
That's just his thing. So my daughter and my oldest one, they get along pretty good. But him and my daughter and Santino, not too good.
Let's dig into that dynamic a little bit. Santino, yes, is probably a little more fiery, maybe a little more apt to cause problems, but also could potentially be your star pupil as an athlete. I mean, the kid is probably the most driven, the most motivated. Some of that has to come from that personality trait. And all three of your kids were raised in the same house, same parents, same basic rule set applied to all three, right? But it's just your kids can be so totally different personality-wise.
Yeah, it's wild how different your kids can be. My son Santino and V, they're actually a lot alike. Those two are a lot alike because they're high energy, they're chatty, they want to hang out with us. Or my son Frankie, he's kind of a little quieter. He's into his friends, into kind of chilling by himself, and just a little different than the other two. He's not into sports as much.
Mm-hmm.
My other one, like Santino's obviously big into sports. V's just kind of like, she's just into hanging out and having fun. She's young still. We pushed our kids early too, and my boys at least. And I feel like I learned from that. So my daughter, I was like, when she's ready, she'll be ready to get pushed.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a serious athlete. I am not, so I don't know how to approach that really. I mean, my kid's just not Grayson. Milani's just starting to get to that age. She's 5. She's doing little things. She takes dance. She wants to get into gymnastics now. I hear gymnastics is brutal though. Like, you have to be there. It's very regimented. You got to,
It depends. I imagine at that age, I think it's, still fun, a couple of days a week, maybe once a week or something like that. I think my daughter does. But no, if you get serious with gymnastics, I hear they train 6 hours, 7 hours a day.
I've heard that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd rather do something that could maybe benefit them later on. I mean, hey, they
Turn
get
it into a scholarship.
Yeah, or if they can get a scholarship out of it, hey, go for it. But if they're going to be good at it, they have to want to do it. That's the thing. I coach kids wrestling, and I see so many parents living through their kids, and it's just so bad.
Did you see the video? I don't know. It just reminded me because you said gymnastics. There was a girl. I don't know. I don't think it was Olympics, but I think she was Olympic quality, who did her floor routine, all the tumbling and stuff, and landed just wrong somehow and blew both of her knees out on the dude, and ended her career right there.
Wow, ended her career?
Her career was over. Yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah. Lou, come on, Lou, pull that shit up.
Damn, I'd like to see that. I mean,
it's I don't know if you want to see it.
I probably don't want to see it. You're right.
Horrible for that girl. She had such a promising future, and it was over.
Man, what happened? What the hell happened?
Just landed wrong. Yeah.
Is that common though? You think that would happen a lot?
Well, I mean, listen. You're a UFC fighter, right? How often does an Anderson? Why can't I say Anderson Silva leg break? How often does that happen? Almost never.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably seen it like 3 times.
Corey, remember the guy Corey? Yeah. Who died, by the way, I heard, right?
No, did he?
I think he died. Yeah. I heard. What was his name? Corey something.
Corey Hill.
Corey Hill. I heard that Corey Hill died, but Corey Hill had a horrible leg break. But maybe worse than Anderson's. They were both hideous.
I mean,
both tall, lanky guys.
Because bad when they try to put their foot down,
right, and step on it, and then the two bones aren't lining up, and are just
not lining up. It's like
Jello leg. Yeah, it was hideous.
Yeah, I've seen some people's arms do that too.
Yeah, Tim Sylvia. I grew up with Tim Sylvia. Good friend of mine, Frank Mir.
Maniac.
Frank Mir ripped his arm off, broke it. But if you remember that fight,
he tried to keep.
He didn't know it was broken. He tried to fight.
He knew it broken. He just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna fight."
Yeah, give him credit for that, man.
Yeah,
us Maine boys don't like to tap.
No, this is true. I almost broke this guy's arm. Well, yeah, kids are a lot of work too.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trade. I didn't know how. I was scared. I got a late start, much later start than you. I didn't have my first child until I was 39. Mine didn't happen until I was 39.
Wow.
So very late start. But honestly, for me, that was the right choice. I wasn't mature enough in a lot of ways to want that. Plus, I hadn't met the right person yet. I have no regrets at all with having children with Jenny, despite whatever we've gone through and whatever differences are. The greatest 2 choices I ever made with her in my life were to have those 2 children.
Yeah.
But I got a very late start, so I'm done. I'm not having any more kids. But it was by far.
Would you get snipped?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I got snipped,
I'm so scared. I can't do it.
Yeah, I had weird misconceptions about it. I was like, oh my God, nothing's gonna come out. Like it's not. Everything is the same. It's nothing. Nothing changes. The sensation. I feel like I need my nuts. I was like, does dust come out?
I need my nuts, man.
Yeah. Well, they don't take your nuts off, bro.
I understand, but they take something, man. They take something.
Your pride, your dignity.
I don't know, but seriously, we're fucking.
That was good, man. For that little time, I mean, I'm sort of in a relationship now, but for that little bit of time that I wasn't, I fucking built-in birth control, man.
That's true. This is true. Yeah, that is nice. I mean, you should still probably wear a condom, but
I sleep with grade A girls. Oh, you sleep with whores. There's a difference. If I was sleeping with the trash that you sleep with back in the day.
Back in the day, it's been back in the day is a long time ago.
I'm kidding. I didn't even know Frankie back then. He's been with Renee since college, right?
Since college.
As long as I've known him, he's been with Renee, so I'm just kidding. But
yeah, he's definitely kidding.
If she heard me say that, holy fuck, she'd come down these stairs and kick my teeth in.
This is true. This is true, yeah. No, I think I was 27 when I had my first kid. And
how old were you when you lost your virginity?
13.
No!
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes, 13.
I was 15, I think. I was a freshman in high school, so 15, I guess.
I was in 7th grade.
Want to talk about it?
I have a really good one, man.
Yeah? Can you talk about it?
Do.
Come on, bro. I'll spill my guts right now. I would say the girl's name, but she
probably
doesn't want her name.
No names. No, not too many details.
No, people are married now and got kids.
So I was 13. I know people are like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. But I was 13. It was February. I remember it was wintertime. And this girl told me she was going to do this, that, and this.
How old was she?
She was 14.
Oh, my God, bro.
She was a grade older, yeah.
Bro. How old's your oldest? 10?
11.
Dude, that's 2 years away,
I know,
bro.
Dude, I know. It scares the shit out of me. So 13.
Take a drink. Jeez, scary.
So 13, February. Again, this girl told me she's gonna do this to me. Put this.
Why does February keep coming into play? Did she blow you in a snowbank?
Because I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why.
All right.
It kind of comes into play. So she's like, you gotta sneak out and come to my house. Now.
Oh, so she's walking distance because you don't have a driver's license.
No,
Oh, no.
no. Okay.
Tell me you stole a car.
I'm gonna tell you
for
where.
this.
You know where my parents' original house is.
of course.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
all right. Do you know where, like St. Joe's is? That area,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the country club. You
Yes,
know where that is?
yep.
All the way over there.
Oh shit!
Okay. How far is that? How far would you say?
I wouldn't dare guess, but that's a ways, man. What, over a mile?
Over a mile, bro. My
Where?
parents.
St. Joe's on.
The country club on Washington Street. The country club.
I'm thinking Church Road. Then I don't know what
country,
you mean.
You know where the country club is?
Nope.
You don't know the Toms River Country Club?
No.
On Washington Street?
No.
Come on, bro. How long you been living here?
Oh, wait a minute. Downtown?
Downtown Washington
Bro,
Street.
I would never think you meant downtown.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that place on
No,
Church Road,
no,
like
the country club, right?
Oh.
That's on the water.
with the golf course and everything.
The golf courses.
That's 7-8 miles away.
about that. I think
Yeah.
probably about 6, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know about that. So I had to sneak out of my house and run to her house. So my parents at
You
the time
were horny.
Dude, I was horny, bro. I was a 13-year-old kid. You kidding me?
I don't
bro?
know if I was horny at 13. I probably.
Oh, man,
I think
dude,
I was still
listen,
fucking like my
listen.
socks and pillows and shit.
Well, this girl, the shit she was telling me, I'm like, listen, I'm in. I'm fucking in. So
That girl,
I stuck in my-
that girl,
my
that girl
parents-
had daddy issues. Just so you know.
I'm not gonna comment. So now I had to sneak out of my house.
Okay.
My parents went to bed super early, so it's like I snuck out like 10:30, 11, probably, maybe 11, something like that.
Did she know you were a virgin, and was she a virgin?
She was not a virgin.
Okay.
I don't think.
God.
I was a virgin.
All right.
She knew that. That's why I think she was into it.
Yeah.
So, you know, some of them like them virgin snatchers.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I sneak out. I had my parents had an alarm in the house, so I had to turn the alarm off, and I left.
Mhm.
But I would turn it back on to leave. All right. So I left. I ran there. It was fucking freezing cold because, like I said, it was February.
I can't believe you
Okay?
ran there, bro.
I ran there.
You guys have no idea how
Dude,
far that
crossed
is.
Route 37, which down 37, crazy.
It's a long
I run
ways
there.
away.
Dude, and this is no cell phones back in the day. I had to be like, okay, I talked to the phone. Okay, I'm leaving now. Meet me. I'll meet you. Blah blah blah.
4 hours.
You know?
I'll meet you.
I'll meet you. So, damn, I get there. I'm like, this bitch ain't coming. She fell asleep.
Oh wait, you're not
Look,
going to her house. You're meeting
no,
like in
no,
the,
meeting at a location first.
wait, with heat or out?
No,
Oh.
outside. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my god, this girl fell asleep. What the fuck? Blah blah blah. All right. So then finally she shows up. We go into her house.
That was back in the day when you could be like this and 30 below zero.
Yeah,
Those days are well past now. My shit, I stick my finger in my ass just to get it to come out now. That weather.
So sneak in her house, do the deed, sleep with her for a little bit.
That's it. You're just gonna say?
I'm not
do
gonna
the
say,
deed?
bro.
All right.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I fucking
You're 13 and 14.
13.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to be a pervert, but you were 13 and 14 back then, so you
Yeah.
can give a little detail. It
Yeah,
wasn't-
no,
not-
but I mean, we had sex. What the fuck am I gonna say? She fucking, you know. I'm
Was
not
it
trying
good?
to keep,
Was it good? Did
No.
you last more than 30 seconds? Did you?
yeah, we just kept it rocking.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? So, I definitely was a
Did
kid.
she shove
I
a
was
beer
young.
in your ass?
No beers in the ass. We're saving that for the next episode.
All right.
So do the deed. You know, I lost my virginity. Sleep a little bit. Get up in the morning and fucking run home.
Dude.
Now-
You stayed a little bit.
Yeah.
But wait a minute.
Listen,
Where were
listen.
you? I thought you were at an
I'll
outdoor
tell you.
venue.
No, we were in her house. So we went to. We met outdoor and then
okay.
went back to her house.
She wanted to see if you were up to par. Okay.
I don't know why we did that, but I mean, I guess whatever. That
And
was
her,
how it went down.
her parents are home. Oh,
Parents home. This is during the week. This is a school night.
You're brave, bro.
This is school night.
And
right?
you're going to see her the next day at school.
Yeah, see her next day at school. So I run home. Now the door's locked.
Mm.
So now how do I get in my house? I knock on the door. My mom would open the door. I said, I just went for a run this morning. I just got back from a run. Okay. So, bang. This is my
good.
first time, right?
That's good.
Now, I did it a couple more times.
Really?
Okay? Yeah, I did it. Of course. Come on.
You had to be an athlete to get laid, bro.
Bro, yeah, get laid. This is during wrestling season, too. I thought, I'm fucking in good
It's how you
shape.
cut
I'm in
your
good
weight,
shape,
yeah.
yeah. So I snuck out a couple of times. I remember one time being in the closet and her parents coming home, coming in the room.
That's an R. Kelly song right there.
Yeah.
That is.
It wasn't modeled after me, I promise. And yeah, because she had like a slumber party. I went there, hung out with her friends, and her mom came home. And I was in the closet. I'm like, dude, what the fuck am I doing, man? And I remember, so I left. Another time I left is morning time. Now, I had school. I'm running. I'm fucking so tired. I'm like, I'm going to be late. What am I going to do? I literally hitchhiked home.
No, at 13.
13 years old. I had balls, bro. I had I'm such a pussy now. I am the biggest pussy
dude.
now. I had balls, bro. I hitchhiked. I got picked up by this.
So kind of a weird direction for somebody to be going, though. You know what I mean? Like back to your house from her place?
What do you mean a weird direction?
Almost everybody would hit the Parkway. You're not hitting the Parkway. You're going
what road was I on? I was on Old Freehold.
Oh, you started hitchhiking.
Yeah.
I thought you were like
I was
her house.
halfway.
Like,
No. I was halfway. Halfway home.
Okay.
So I'm like, put the thumb out. I get picked up by a Spanish couple. Don't speak any English.
Ooh.
I'm like pointing the finger that way. And I remember getting close. I'm like, Alto. I was taking Spanish. Fucking 7th grade Spanish.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
Alto.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, that was my story.
That's a good story.
I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good
story.
man.
My story, I can't top that. I definitely can't top that, but I'll tell it real quick. I had a childhood friend, Willard. We called him Bub because I grew up in Maine. Everybody was Bub. But anyway, Willard, he was a little older than me. I think he was a grade ahead of me. I was a freshman, but we did everything together. We hunted a lot together, just did everything together. Usually you have groups in high school. I would say I was sort of the party kid. I hung out with sort of the party crowd. I started out as an athlete.
But now your group in you had like 30 kids in your high school?
No, I had 7 towns went to my high school. And there was
7 towns?
7
Wow.
towns, and there was 350 kids roughly in the whole school. And
In
there
the
was
whole school?
55 kids in my graduating class, yeah. So tiny.
How many girls out of 55?
I don't know, but I banged them all. No, I'm kidding. No. Not many. I mean, it was, let's say half and half.
Yeah.
But, and I definitely didn't bang them all. You should have seen
I hope not.
But anyway, what was I going to say? Willard one night, and this is, again, a school night, but we're in high school at this point, wanted to hang out with this girl, and I'll exclude names because I'm sure everybody's married with children now, but wanted to hang out with this girl who was a smoke show. She was a pretty girl, and he wanted to hang out with her. And he decided to go to his uncle's everybody in Maine, I should start this off with this, has a cabin in the woods. Everybody. Either a hunting camp or a cabin in the woods. Everybody. Like every family has one, right? My family had one. His family. So we ended up taking these girls, her and her friend, this girl that Willard wanted to hang out with, and her friend, who were both seniors, right? I'm a freshman. I think Willard's a junior. And we took them to his cabin in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods, and of course had a few beers, started drinking or whatever. And it's a 1-floor room cabin. There's no rooms or nothing. There's just like a bed over there because it's a hunting camp,
It's like a studio apartment.
Yeah. Right. So there's like a bed over there and there's a bed over here. And, it's like, I think even bunk beds in there and stuff like that. So I remember Willard took the other girl over to the bed and starts getting busy. And now I'm awkwardly sitting there as a freshman who this girl isn't even really into me, right? Like Willard was there for the other girl. And I'm awkwardly watching my friend bang this girl, and I'm like, "Fuck!" Like, and I'm a virgin, right? But I'm embarrassed. Willard's not a virgin, and I'm embarrassed to tell this girl that I'm a virgin, and I'm a little like unsure of what to do at all. I'm like, "What am I supposed to do?" And then I was like, "Don't waste this moment, bro. Like, try to capitalize on it anyway." So I look over, and this girl is doing artwork for art class, right? She's literally like nothing's going on.
Homework? She's like,
artwork. And she was a great artist. I remember that. Like she was drawing something. It was
not drawing like penises or anything.
It was beautiful. No, she wasn't. She definitely didn't draw mine after it either. But no, it wasn't a scene out of the Titanic, you idiot. But anyway, she's doing artwork and like paying no attention to what's going on. And I'm like getting excited because there's sex going on. It's so close you can smell it, right?
But dissy.
Yeah, so I'm like, Jesus, like I gotta do something here. So I just walk over. I think I sat down where she was. We started talking a little bit, and if I remember, again, I'm probably missing out. She was just like, "You want to have sex?" You know what I mean?
No way.
And I was like, "Yes,
nonchalant.
yes."
Nonchalant.
It was so nonchalant. Yeah, and I was like, "Yes, yeah, of course, yes." She's like, "Have you ever done it before?" And I literally lied through my teeth, bro, because I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell her I was a virgin. So I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, of course." You know what I mean? And in my head, I'm like, my God, bro, you better not be like a 30-second man with this. You know what I mean? Like, so we did. With my buddies over there hooking up. I'm over here hooking up, and that's how I lost my virginity. And I never told her. that ever I was anything but a virgin. That she was my first. And later, when I don't think I was with Jenny yet, but I was an adult. I was, it was after I moved to Jersey and I'd lived down here for a bunch of years. She had got married. She had a child, but she'd come home, I guess, to visit her family who lived in the same town that I grew up in. And I drove past her one summer. I was home visiting, and I drove past her, and she was walking with her kid. You know what I mean? So I just stopped and shot the shit with her, and her kid was, like, playing with bugs off to the side. Her kid wasn't, like, in earshot, And we were talking. I was just like, hey, it's been so long. And I told her. I was like, hey, do you know? And she's like, no way. I was like, yeah, yep. And she's like, that's funny. She just started hysterically laughing. So.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So she took your seed.
She did. She took. Well, I don't know about my
Your
seed, but
I mean your flower, shall I say?
Yeah,
Right?
I was not trying to have babies. I was not trying to have babies as a freshman.
A guy can't be deflowered. The woman gets the flower.
Yeah, she took my virginity. Yeah, she got. So, and I remember thinking, wow, that was pretty amazing. Like, yeah, I want to do that again.
With your boy and all, it was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that was it was musical mattresses.
You had
right
audience and everything.
Yeah,
Kind of got to perform.
Yeah, that's what it was exactly what it was. I was under the pressure, and I think I did all right. I don't know. I mean, she was laughing a lot when I told the stories.
Wait. I thought she was laughing a lot.
No, when I told her,
when was she laughing?
20 years later, when I told her the stories, she was laughing. So. She had humongous boobs too, natural boobs, obviously.
Oh yeah.
They didn't even know what breast implants were in Maine back then.
Imagine where they're pointing now.
You know,
I'm joking.
I'm sure they're magnificent.
Nowadays, there's stuff to fix all that stuff anyway.
Yep. So that's my story. Yeah. I think yours wins though. You got a good story. I didn't have to do any physical exertion to get there. I did a little during, but I didn't have to run a marathon to get laid.
Anything, all good things are on the other side of hard work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is true.
So yeah,
I'm thinking you're in a snowbank the way you were telling that story, like February.
Well, it was middle of fucking winter.
Yeah.
February's cold in Jersey.
True. She just wanted to walk you in, I guess, to get you in the house safely. But I'm thinking the way you told the story, like you kept saying February. This guy's like banging her in the middle of a golf course in February. I was like, damn, bro, that's good.
Not that bad. But yeah, that was an experience. I remember being so scared running.
Yeah. What time of night was it?
Like 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that. Running across 37, Route 37.
That was in the day. Now, I don't know if you can do it. I can't do it. Back in that day where you literally could get no sleep. You could be up and go to school fresh as a daisy the next day. I mean, like nothing happened. Yeah. I could never do that now.
To school, went to practice.
Yeah.
Bang,
yeah. No sleep. Like it was nothing, yeah.
Sleep is big now.
Of course, you were on cloud 9 anyway. You were so pumped.
Dude, I was fucking smiling.
Who's the first person? Who's the first person you told?
First kid I saw, probably my class. She's like, "Don't tell nobody." I'm like, "Sure." Come on, man.
Now, obviously, we're not saying names, but
no names.
Where is that person today? Do you?
I'd rather not say.
She's on the. You see her at the PTA board meeting?
No.
All right.
We're gonna keep that.
Okay. Well, fair enough. You're happily married.
I'm extremely.
I could divulge everything, but I never would because I don't know where she is at in life, and that wouldn't be fair. So.
Yeah. Keep it.
Yeah. Keep it very, very respectable. Yes.
Yeah. Keep it cool.
Yeah. Of course. Oh. All right. We should mention we are soon going to be having guests on. We've got a number of guests that are interested. It's just a matter of getting them there. But I think we can mention our first guest, right?
Yeah, and we're going to have him definitely. Maybe, I don't know if he'll be our first one, but he's definitely going to be coming on the show.
Yep. He's Mr. Todd Frazier, the Godfather, is going to come on. He's a personal friend of both.
The Todd Father.
Oh, did I say the Godfather?
Yeah.
Shit. Sorry about that, guys. The Todd Father. Yeah. And he's going to be coming on soon, just signed with the Texas Rangers. So
good old TR boy.
Yeah. We'll talk to him, pick his brain a little bit, and should be a great guest. He's always interesting. I love hanging out with Todd.
Good dude, man. Great energy.
Yep.
It'll be fun.
Always positive.
All right, everybody. Hey, until next time. Thanks for listening in.
Champ and the Tramp, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Give us a chance and give us a listen. Again, that first episode got delayed a little bit, but by the time you hear this, it'll be episode 3, and we'll be rocking and rolling. And check us out every Monday at 3 o'clock.
Boom.